Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm originally from Cape Town. I moved to England when I was 22 years old and I've lived in England ever since. So I haven't been back to Cape Town for 10 years since my mother died, and I thought it'd be interesting to point out the changes that are like obvious to me because I haven't been back there for so long. So the first thing is a huge increase in home security. Partly it's unemployment rate, which is really high. There are also a lot of burglaries, there's a lot of muggings. Toilet paper, which is locked because people keep stealing it. Here in Oranjezicht, you can see the mountain behind me. I just want to show you the security on people's houses. Electricity's off, these people would have no fencing at all. Look at that nice house there. This is a massive hedge, which is what I would go for. This one has the massive wall approach. And this is what loads of houses have now. Electric fencing on top of the wall. There's the mountain, and I'll just show you there's the cable car station. You drive up there and get the cable car to the top of the mountain where the pole is up there. The worst thing, the worst change that you see when you go back is the electricity situation. So electricity is something you just take for granted, isn't it? But you really can't in Cape Town or in South Africa. They are 6 to 8 hours every day when there is no electricity. So they do tell you in advance. You can get an app on your phone. It tells you, you can get warnings saying, oh, your electricity's stopping in 10 minutes, you know, so you've got to run for a quick shower or something. But it happens in 2 or 2.5 hour blocks throughout the day, and it's just really, really annoying. So it's, you know, you don't have the internet, you don't have TV, you can't cook. Most people cook on electricity, very few people have gas, so it's just hugely inconvenient. There's always load shedding in the evening from 6 to 8 or from 8 to 10. I got locked out of my brother's house 3 times because I didn't have, I couldn't use the Wi-Fi to phone. I'd run out of data. I couldn't use the intercom button to get in, and you know, there was just no way. And that happens all the time. People's like burglar alarms don't work because of power failures. It's just absolutely ridiculous. The government has said, oh yeah, people should get solar panels, but they're really expensive. So I mean, the government really needs to sort this out. They said it's going to go on for the next 2 or 3 years because South Africa doesn't produce enough electricity. So this is me with a torchlight. This is called shedding, and it's 6 hours a day in Cape Town. It's actually worse in other places. There's just no electricity for 6, like 2-hour blocks, 3 2-hour blocks. So it's like tomorrow it's 4 till 6 in the morning, and then it's from 12 until 2 midday, which is really bad time, and then it's from 8 till 10 in the evening. So here we are, we also do our torches. It's 8 o'clock and we're going to bed. There's a shop that stays open. So when you go to Cape Town, you need to buy a SIM card for your phone, and the SIM card is quite cheap, but the data is really expensive. So I just didn't bother actually. I just used WhatsApp and relied on people to phone me. I did get stuck a couple of times because I tried to use public transport and I had to be rescued from the beach at one point because there was like no public transport. Well, there were no trains running that day and I couldn't get home. So you do need to think about your data when you go to South Africa. So I did walk through Cape Town a few times on my own as a woman on my own without anyone with me, and I felt fairly safe. I mean, there are areas where you will be like, it's quite easy to get into an area where there are no other white people, but I don't find that intimidating. There is a high crime rate. There are a lot of muggings, especially of tourists, and they've got special police just standing on street corners to deter that sort of opportunistic mugging. But anyway, I'll show you this. I've made some videos of just me walking around town and what it's like. I'm walking into Cape Town from Oranjezicht, which is a suburb to the north of Cape Town, near the mountain. And this is a traditional garden set up by the Dutch East India Company, 1652. Signs, no guns or knives, no loitering. You can't lie down in the sun. There's sprinklers. People water their lawns. It's a terrible waste of water. Look at that huge puddle there under that tree. There's Jan Smuts statue. He was the Prime Minister of South Africa at the time of the First World War. He helped form the League of Nations. It's the President's residence when he's in Cape Town. And that's where all famous people get to meet him. Like, I don't know, Mandela meeting Obama. Would be on those steps. It's government buildings. So this government building. It's a bit over the top. I wonder who that is. Oh, there's another statue of Smuts. Oh, I quite like that one. So walking to town down the gardens again, I just thought I'd show you, like, there's always people just sleeping on the streets. So you see this woman behind you? She's just lying, she was lying just flat on her face. And then she just suddenly rolled over, but in sand. It's like a bizarre way to sleep. There's a man sleeping on a bench as well in front of me. That's the provincial government, the city of Cape Town. So each province have devolution there. Street. There's the mountain behind it. Also, there's all that gin. So this is the walk-in fridge, the bottle store. So you don't buy beer in the supermarket, you buy it here in this giant room. So this video shows you what the shopping is like in Cape Town. There are a lot of like shops for tourists. There's like Green Market Square. There's a lot of market traders. You know, just people setting up stalls. You don't need a permit or anything just to sell stuff on the side of the road. Green Market Square, which is just a load of craft stalls and tourist stuff in the middle of town. There's ostrich shells, baskets. Horns, does it bring you luck? Yeah. Does it have to be a rhino horn? Or is it for sex? Rhino horns. Okay. This is the city bus stop. So I met this woman on the bus. She was really friendly, helping me and this Canadian man on sort of how to catch buses, which buses to catch, like she's some local expert. But I just included this video clip because she was so funny and telling this Canadian man to wear a hat. But that is actually the way local people speak. They are very direct.
103, yeah. You need the 101, yeah. Or possibly Yeah,
the 111. But yeah.
Whereabouts does your brother live?
Devil's Peak, that's the area, but what we found out was the German, I know that the Quick Star.
First off, I love you, dearly. Get a fucking hat.
I do, I have it in my backpack.
Put the fucking hat on.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Don't question me. Put the fucking hat on. Because even as a local, I've got caps at home. Yeah. And the only reason I'm not wearing a cap now is because I'm getting on a bus. Yeah. Were I walking up, I would be wearing the old school Disney Cruella de Vil cap that they brought out when they released the movie. Oh, no. And I wear that around. And you can't even find your hat, my angel.
So I did try to use public transport. I was sort of trying to be independent. I think I'm quite streetwise. Been to a lot of countries. I should be able to travel on my own in Cape Town, shouldn't I? So I went to catch a train to the beach. So I was catching a train from Observatory to Muizenberg. That was my goal. It took me about 3 hours to get to the beach because the trains get sabotaged. Apparently it's done by the people who own the black taxis because they don't want people using the trains. But the train line isn't even fenced off. Anyone can get onto the train line. So it's very easy to damage it. So someone had damaged the train line and then there weren't any trains the whole day after 10 AM because they had to repair this damage. So that's just like an absolute shambles. Also, it was load shedding. So you had to pay cash for your train ticket. It's just random. There are no signs, nobody had any information. There wasn't anyone who could tell you what was going on while the train wasn't there. I mean, eventually I spoke to someone who was in a WhatsApp group that told her there was no train coming. So she'd been waiting for 3 hours. And then I went with her and her husband and I caught a bus and a black taxi. Okay, we hurry up. The taxi. Here I am. I have reached the beach I was coming to. That one, St James Beach, which I don't know, I waited for a train for an hour, didn't turn up. Then I got on a bus which took me to Wynberg station where all the taxis stop. Then I got on a taxi which goes to Fishhook and it'll drop you off anywhere you want. So it's possible to get around on public transport. So I'm going for a swim. I visited the bo-kaap area of Cape Town. So this is a historic area. There's some of the oldest houses in Cape Town and they've been painted in these bright colours. to the waterfront in Cape Town. So this area was developed just before I left South Africa. So yeah, maybe the 80s or early 90s it was developed. So it used to just be like a scruffy harbour. It still is a working harbour. The cruise ships come in here, so sometimes you can go onto a cruise ship. There was also a big boat race going around, sailing around the world, catamarans, when I was there. Lovely views I can see from here. And behind me, that's where the helicopter lands and takes off, if you like watching helicopters. There's a rescue helicopter that goes a lot of the time. Sea rescues and mountain rescues. They hit the heat stroke on the mountain, they get tripped on the mountain. There's the big wheel. There's all the front there. That is Table Mountain covered in clouds. Tablecloth. And this is Victoria Wall. Here we are preparing for a race. There's 4 boats. I'm just walking around the waterfront. Really lovely. There's the views of the mountain. There's all the boats behind me. And there you can see is a seal. There's the big shopping centre. So at the end of all this exploring, I was pretty exhausted and I ended up at a 5-star hotel. The Mount Nelson is one of the most famous hotels in South Africa, and it does have a real colonial feel, and customers are like 100% white, but it's quite nice for a cup of tea, and the gardens are lovely. In the off season you can go in and get a day pass, which includes lunch, drinks and lying by the pool all day. So I'm going to do that in the future. But it was busy when I was there in February. It was really busy actually, so they didn't last stay for the day. So this is your tea at the Mount Nelson. Look at the tea, loose tea, loose leaf tea.
Yeah, and you put it like that. Okay.
In a few minutes it's going to be up and running.
Yeah.
If you don't want it to be strong, you just put it like this and then you put it here.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And what I like about it is they don't actually have prices.
They don't have prices. No, look. They give you books.
Yeah.
Look.
And magazines.
Holy mackerel.
This is nice.
Look, but look how big the sun lounges are. Look.
I think they've done it. They've really made it better.
Flower bed, isn't that nice?
I know.
And there's a spa. Maybe you have to pay for a spa pass.
Yeah.
Should we go and ask? So I'm here at the Mount Nelson Hotel, which is the best hotel in the whole of Cape Town. And it just came for tea, afternoon tea. Unfortunately, the pool isn't open at the moment. Sometimes the year, the pool is open for people just to come in for the day. When the southeaster blows, basically you need to check what the weather is. If the southeaster is blowing, you cannot go near the beach. It is so, well you could if you were surfing, but there's no way you can sit on the beach. It is way too windy. So this is just the garden of our house. My brother's house just shows you just how windy it was. Southeaster looks like. Just listen to this wind. This is the evening. This is like 8 PM in the evening. It's still light, it's still warm. But here's the mountain today. 27 degrees. Very tame. See how close I am, I could practically touch him. Giant bird. Look how big it is. So I'm sitting here at the pool and there's this big ugly bird. Look at this. It's called a hardy yarn because that's the noise it makes. I swear it's the ugliest bird I've ever seen. So I'm sitting outside at the pool today. It's really hot and I've been doing some gardening. I thought I'd show you. I'm eating proper African food. Look at this. See that? Close up. That is sampan beans. So it's maize with beans. You boil it up and then you add some squash and onion and carrot. So it's like a really thick sort of barley soup, that sort of thing. It's quite tasty. That's what it looks like. So the brown bits are beans. The white bits are, that's maize. And that's a bit of butternut squash. And that's a bit of onion. And that's the traditional African lunch in Southern Africa. Thank you very much for watching my video. I hope I haven't put you off going to Cape Town, but I wanted to show you the real side, not just the tourist blurb. Next week's video, I'll be showing you around the beaches I visited in Cape Town. After that, I'll be taking you to the hot baths in Citrusdal. It's one of the best places to visit. It's 2 hours. There's lots and lots of hot springs around Cape Town. And you can go right up into the mountains and swim in a rock pool with like volcanic hot water. It's really, really nice. And then I've also made a video about driving, because Cape Town is famous for its brilliant drives. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. Great videos coming soon.